Page 36, Goodbye Old Paint. At the top of the page, they're introducing the D and the A7 chords, and they show them to you. The D chord, when you're in the key of D major, this is the 1 chord for that key. And the A7 chord, well, when you're in the key of D major, this is the 5/7 chord for that key. The 2 of the primary chords. You need to know them. Both hands. They're also introducing a ledger note A in the right hand for the treble clef. You see a middle C is 1 ledger line. Those ledger lines, by the way, a ledger line is that little line above or below the staff so you can keep having more notes. Middle C is the most common because treble clef or bass clef doesn't matter. They both use a ledger line to show this note. It's 1 ledger line, okay? You can have more. Now they're introducing an A. That's 2 ledger lines. So it's, if you know how to count these things out, you can figure out, because it could be 5 or 6 ledger lines up or above or below or whatever, and you need to be able to figure out what the note is. Go up or down the alphabet from where you are. So if 1 ledger line is here, then next ledger line is here. You skip a key because the space right below the first ledger line, there's a space in between each line. So you got line, space, line, space, line, space. Well, the lines are every other note on the keyboard. Okay. So you can figure out what the note is. So if the first one is here, C, then the second ledger line has to be an A. And that's a way of figuring it out. That's for treble clef. It works the same on bass clef. Above or below the staff, it's all the same. For instance, if I went above the top line on the treble clef for the right hand, the top line is an F. Well, the first ledger line above it is going to be 2 notes higher, an A. Next one is going to be a C. That's 2 ledger lines, 3 ledger lines, 4, 5, 6, etc. So you can figure out what the notes are. If it happens to be in a space between them, then you simply count up the ledger lines to the space and it'll be the next note. And that would be the note in the space, whatever. So they all work the same way. In this case, the A below the treble clef staff is here. It's the same as the bass clef A. The top line of a bass clef is the same note. But you can have that note in either clef, so okay. In Goodbye Old Paint, I guess we get to use all this stuff they're talking about, huh? 3/4 time with a pickup beat. Let's try it together. I'll give us 2 counts. This is in the key of D major, so you have F sharps and C sharps throughout. If it shows an F or a C, you automatically sharpen, right? Right. So first, the right hand. Let's talk about that. You're starting out here, not at 5-finger position, because you got to come down to the D. You see that half note D lingering around there? Then in the 3rd measure from the end, on the first line, you have an A. They're saying 3rd finger on the F sharp, so just bring your 3rd finger down, and that way you can play the next notes. That's fine. You get the same thing in the 2nd line, 2nd measure. Put the 3rd finger on the F sharp. Okay? Now, in the 2nd line on the 3rd measure, you've ended the half note D's with the thumb. Now you got to lift your hand up and play the A with the thumb again down here. It's okay because we're between phrases, and the time it takes you to get from here to here gives you that silence you need between the phrases. Okay, so that's okay. Now in the last measure of the 2nd line, they're saying a thumb on the half note A. You can if you want to, it's unnecessary, because it ends a phrase, and then the next D starts a phrase. So the time we want to break between the phrases. So I recommend in the half note D, you use 3rd finger. Keep using your 3rd finger. And now for the quarter note D, use the thumb. what I recommend. But you can use that fingering if you want, it doesn't matter. If you use different fingers for the all those D's, which is not a bad idea, you'll end up with a thumb on the half note D anyway. So it'd be 3, 1, 3, 1. And that works out fine too, if you want to do it that way. The left hand just gets these chords. Yay, left hand. Okay. Let's try it together. 3 counts and we'll play this together. Here. Right hand here. Here. All right. Ready, go. There is an accompaniment for a duet at the bottom of the page, and I'd like to do that. So you play what you just played, and I'll do the duet part, and you can do a duet. We'll see how it goes. Now, for this, you get the first note by yourself. I don't come in until rehearsal number 1. You see the rehearsal letter? And number 1, they stick it between the staves. That's a little unusual. It's usually above the staff. They probably did it between the staves because there's a letter D indicating the chord, because the chords are above it, right? And so to save room, they put the one in between the staff. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's rehearsal number 1. And that's when I come in, right there. So I'll give you 2 counts and you start, and then I'll come in a beat later. Put your hands where they go. Here we go. Ready, go.